Hey, Fred Minnick here. Really excited to be tasting this right here. This is Barker's Mill. Take a look at that there. The label coming from the one, the only MB Roland in Western Kentucky. You can see it's a bottle and bond there. Distilled in the fall of 2016 and bottled last year in the fall of 2021. Now, this product is only available in Kentucky. And a little bit about MB Roland. I've got a story, a link in the description. I've known Paul and Mary Beth Tomaszewski for a very long time. Paul is an Iraq veteran. I'm always rooting for him because we have that bond, the Iraq veteran thing. And I actually filmed my episode with Yellow Wolf there, and we talked about the aliens around the area and so forth, and we tasted out of the barrel. MB Roland has been a distillery that's always been small. They thrive in the small. They do really, really well. Wherever they are, people love their whiskey, but more importantly, people love Paul and Mary Beth, and that's one of the reasons why they've been so successful. But they're also like successful in their own way. They haven't sold out. They're continuing to be their own. They do it through their own capital. They're the quintessential small business mentality in Western Kentucky. So I'm always rooting for them. But when it comes to reviewing their whiskey, it comes down to their whiskey. And Paul and Mary Beth know that if I don't like it, they will accept that I don't like it. But typically, I have liked their whiskey. I like styles of whiskey that tend to be oily, tend to have some like peanut butter and almond notes in there, and that has typically been MB Roland's basic flavor profile for me. So enough chitter chatter. I'm gonna go ahead. That's on there good, huh? Boy, that might be the thickest, strongest bottle to bond tape I've ever dealt with there. So here we go. Yeah. All right. Okay. This has a peanut shell. Let's take a look at that there. It's very dark. It's got a lot of like oak and peanut. Some kind of like a boiled yams. Like if you're boiling yams, there's like a particular smell. It's kind of caramelized, but it's not sugary. Smoky, earthy, peanut buttery, and then like some like green chilies. After all that, there's like a sweetness kind of coming in, and it's coming in from like the back palate toward front of the palate, like a chocolate milk note. Wow, that's excellent. Barker's Mill. If you're a bottled and bond geek like me, I really dig this. This is really good. It traces down a lot of the whiskey that I've had from there before. Oily, peanut notes, some smoke. The one thing that's different with this MB Roland release that I've never had from them before is a cadre of spice and sweet coming in toward the end. So all the notes that I'm typically used to from MB Roland are right there at the front. They stay there, and then after that, there's like this movement of like of spice in like green chili, kind of like a raw green chili form. Then you got some sweetness, like a touch of caramel, and like maybe like a vanilla icing coming in after that. And as it settles for a finish, it kind of curls up in underneath the tongue. That's one of those places when you see a lot of peanut notes, if you see a lot of bitterness notes, you will often notice that it'll curl up underneath your tongue. So the next time you're tasting, if you taste peanut butter or if you taste like a shell of a nut, see if you feel anything underneath your tongue. That's where sometimes those things move to. But overall, this is definitely an incredible release from MB Roland, and I'm actually really glad I liked it because I didn't want to have that conversation with Paul. Like, Paul, hey, how's it going? Yeah, good to see you. I don't like your whiskey. I've had to have that conversation way too many times recently. Not with Paul, but with friends in general, and it hasn't always been good. But Paul would understand, though. He would be cool. I will say there's a note in here, this smoke and like peanut note. If those are notes that offend you, which a lot of people who don't have palates that they want to explore and get past the notes that they don't like, which that's okay. You drink what you like. That's important. But sometimes people hit a barrier with this smoke and this like nuttier kind of nutshell note, and they just will dismiss it. And sometimes you see them in social media going, "Oh, blah! I can't believe anybody likes that. It tastes like blah." But that's social media. Everybody's got an opinion about everything. Doesn't mean they know anything, but they have an opinion. At any rate, I highly recommend this for those seeking bottled and bond experiences or bottled and bond whiskeys. I also think this is a really, really great example of a non-traditional, like a non-big house Kentucky bourbon that is bottled and bond. This is really, really, really good. And if it had a Jim Beam label on it, if it had a Buffalo Trace label on it, people would be chasing it down like crazy. But this is a small distillery in Western Kentucky, and this is probably I'm a big fan of their corn whiskey, so I'm not going to say that this is better than their corn whiskey, but I would say this is one of the top things that they have released. Barker's Mill, bottled and bond, available only in Kentucky. There might be a case or two in Texas, but keep your eye out for it. This is really, really good bourbon. Cheers, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be safe out there. Take care of one another. And, remember, good bourbon is better when you're with friends. Cheers.